Hey guys, today we've got a 2008 Polaris Sportsman 500 H.O EFI. It's a touring model. What we're going to be doing is changing the inner and outer tie rod ends. So what you want to get started with is you want to loosen this nut off here. There's a nut underneath and this bolt on top. The bolt on top is a 15 millimeter. The nut on the bottom is a 17 mil. So what you want to do is you want to loosen that off. And there's going to be two washers in between. Make sure you don't lose those. They're quite vital. As you can see, there's not much left of this tie rod end. Very sloppy. So as I said, loosen off 15, 17. Okay, so now that you got that all taken off, you might want to leave this bolt in there. It makes your life 10 times easier. And then what you want to do is grab a 19 mil wrench, loosen that off, give it a spin, not too far, probably about a millimeter gap. You don't want to lose that because that's basically where your steering alignment is. And then you give that a wiggle. It should come straight out. You may have to tap it a little bit from the bottom depending on how long it's been changed for. So once you got that done, you want to loosen off this nut a little bit here. That should slide right off. There you go. As you can see, it's not too good anymore. Lots of play. All worn out. That gasket shouldn't be ripped like that. So that's garbage. And then what you want to do is you want to grab a 10 millimeter wrench and you want to loosen off, or sorry, a 19 millimeter wrench, and you want to loosen off this back bolt here until it becomes loose. As I said again, no more than a millimeter. You don't want to lose that alignment. And you can use this portion here with a 10 millimeter wrench to hold it in place as you're spinning that back one, or you can do it when this is on here with that outer tie rod end. So now that you got that all loosened off at the back there, you want to give that a spin. Take it out. So now that you got the tie rod taken out, set it aside, and then back here you're gonna have a 10 millimeter nut on the top. I've already taken it off, so 10 millimeter nut on the top, not 10 millimeter, sorry, a 9/16 on the top, and you're gonna have a 9/16 as well on the bottom. So once that comes out like that, you wanna take that bolt out, and the outer tie rod end should come out along with it. This one's perfectly fine, but rule of thumb, change one, change them all. So now that we got the tie rod ends put back on, this end here with the slot on it, you're going to see that it's a left-handed thread. So, and then you got the regular right-hand thread on the other end. The regular right-hand thread is the inner tie rod end. So you want to just slide that in there. Okay, so now that you got it placed in there, you want to grab the bolt that you just took out of it. That goes up from the bottom to the top. You don't make these polarises very easy. Alright, so once you got that one side in, you want to just give that a little tighten down, make sure it's not too tight. If you have issues getting it in, make sure you can use a little bit of little bit of grease or something like that, but make sure it's not going to affect any, rubber gaskets or any type of rubber. It's not going to eat at it. So now that you got that all tightened up, what you want to do is you want to bring that nut back down to about 1 millimeter. So right about there. And then you want to tighten this with a 19mm socket. To tighten those again was a 9/16 on the top, 9/16 on the bottom. Make sure the bolt goes from the bottom up, as there's very little clearance down here. You'll catch. So bolt, bottom to top, nut on the top. So then you just want to tighten that down, millimeter away. As you can see, there's very little room in there. Now that you got the inner tie rod done, you want to do the outer tie rod. So you want to put the bolt that's supplied with it in through the top. In the middle, you want to put a washer. On the bottom, you want to put a washer and then the nut. And then you're going to be tightening it up and putting the cotter pin in. Now that you got that all tightened up with 15 on the top, 17 on the bottom, and you've set the cotter pin on the bottom there, what you want to do is go ahead and take two 19mm wrenches, and you want to give that nut a tighten down just so this doesn't move, because basically your wheels should be as straight as you got them when you first took it all apart, because you didn't move that nut too far. It's all tightened down. Everything should be good. And that's how you do an inner and an outer tie rod change on a 2008 Polaris 500 Sportsman EFI H.O Touring. Thanks. Bye.